Real people, real celebrities, real talk.
Join the Breakfast Club.
Blast off in your
Weekday morning, 6 to 10.
Hey, it's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. Now nobody gonna say hello or nothing?
Who asked?
You usually say we got a special guest in the
But
building.
Evans usually say good morning. What up, Envy? Say something. Talk to me.
No, we don't.
Nobody does that.
What's wrong with you?
Come
You on
man.
drugs?
We see you every day. We
What's
do
wrong
with you
with
all
this
day
guy?
already. You can
Well,
say
we
good
have
morning.
a special guest in the building.
That's right. The host of one of my favorite podcasts, the Combat Jack Show.
Yo, what's
Mr.
up?
Combat Jack.
What's up? What's up? Salutes, man. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, guys.
Yo, y'all look great, man. First and foremost, I gotta say I'm really proud of y'all.
You can tell
Thank
he's a
you, brother.
lawyer.
You know,
Yeah,
your Envy, man. Congratulations on the new baby. You know what I'm
Baby number
saying?
Yeah, you're
44.
catching up to Combat Jack.
Angela, the hair is laying down just lovely, and Charlamagne, you looking 10 years younger, man. What the hell you doing, man?
Stop doing coke.
Yo, word?
Yeah.
Coke could do it,
Leave
man.
the coke alone. Start
Yeah.
drinking more water.
Drink
Plus
some
he smo-
vampire blood.
You
He
there.
smoked a lot
Yeah.
of weed and slept a lot, so he's like a vampire.
I do get a lot more sleep nowadays.
Get more
That's the
weed
best
too,
thing.
man.
No, I don't smoke that crazy. We went to Seattle this past weekend, and it's legal out there. So when in Rome, I just wanted to try it, and
I
yeah,
heard you got lost out there, though, man. That gas had you confused, man.
I fell asleep.
Stay woke, my brother.
I did. I fell asleep for damn near the half of the show we was at.
Now, Combat Jack, your name has come up a
Hold
couple
on,
of
Premium
times.
Peter's here too.
Premium
Premium
Peter's in the
Pete.
building.
Right.
Hi, Premium
What's
Pete.
going on, Angela?
Premium's a little shy right now.
Nah, I mean,
He just ran up the
I just
stairs,
ran
that's
100
right.
miles and running.
Now, your name has come up a couple of times on the show.
Yes.
Number one, Troy Ave has a problem with you.
I didn't even know he was talking about you after the interview. He called you what, a sucker?
Sucker.
Called
I'm
you
a
sucker.
sucker.
What
Why
makes
you a
you a
sucker?
sucker?
You know, I'm really confused.
Hold on, because he never said names, Troy Ave, but yeah.
But you knew who he was talking. I'm just really confused. I don't want to really stretch this thing out, but
Okay.
let's get to the bottom of this. I grew up on Lincoln Place between Albany and Troy.
Nice
Right.
area right now in Brooklyn.
Well, that place still hasn't changed.
It's a little nice.
Troy
area.
Avenue, like seriously, Troy Avenue, the avenue is still going through some changes. So in 2006, I remember looking at TV and saw a video from a rapper named Troy Ave, and the video was put out by Def Jam. So I was like, oh, this is Troy Ave. Somebody's representing my neighborhood. I got so happy that somebody was carrying my neighborhood on their shoulders.
Gotcha.
So I've been watching Troy Avenue's rise since 2006. When I started the Combat Jack Show in 2010, Troy Avenue was one of my very first guests. Troy Avenue was on my show twice. So me and Troy Avenue, we built
His
like
name is Troy Ave.
Troy Avenue. Me and
So
Troy
he's not the actual
built a
street.
decent relationship. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Like he got my number, I got his number. Me and Hovain is cool. You know what I'm saying? And I've always saluted that brother. I've always championed that brother. You know what I'm saying? I remember there was an incident where he was doing a video a couple of years ago. Nobody knew who he was. He reached out to me. He's like, yo, I want to do this retro video. I want Fab Five Freddy in the video. And I know you're cool with Fab Five Freddy. So because I'm representing Troy and Troy's representing my neighborhood, I'm like, yo, I'll put my name out there for you. So I call Fab Five Freddy. I was like, Fab, can you be in this video? I told him who Troy Ave was. I bigged him up. You know, Fab Five respectfully declined. But like these are the things that I was doing. for
Damn,
Troy.
you
now
didn't come
fast
through then. You didn't come through for him then.
Fast forward to you being a sucker.
So, and this is part of Charlotte. This is your fault, Charlamagne. This is I blame you. So, you know,
Now it sounds
for
real.
the
It's always
past
your
3
fault.
years, we've been doing this roundtable, this annual roundtable with Al Lindstrom.
Yep.
And this is the first year that Charlamagne, you know, came on.
Yep.
So the
Of course,
first.
there's some problems after that.
Well, so the day that we were shooting, you know, not to call you out, but the day that we were shooting, you came through late, right?
yeah.
sounds right.
So you didn't really get a chance to read the criteria of what Rookie of the Year meant, like Rookie Rapper of the Year meant. The criteria, as it was explained to me, was somebody that you had never seen coming, somebody that you hadn't expected, and all of a sudden, boom, they was here. I've been looking after Troy Avenue for the past 8 years. Like, he's not a rookie to me.
You know what makes that null and void? Because somebody voted French Montana.
Yeah, but that's null and void too. Like you understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So, but the minute you said Troy Ave, you put the battery in his back. So when I said no, not Troy Ave, no disrespect to Troy, but he ain't no rookie to me. Like, and I think that's a good thing. I never seen somebody be mad
Well, he's
that
not
you
a
ain't
rookie
call him
to
a
you.
rookie.
You're from Troy Avenue in Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's a rookie to me.
He's a rookie to everybody
But
else.
the thing
But
is,
most people probably didn't see him coming.
Word up.
but how many mixtapes has he had? You know what I'm saying?
actually, I've known Troy Ave for quite a long time too.
Right. It's
Probably
not-
about 5 or 6 years.
It's
I
not.
started getting on Troy when the Bricks in the Backpack mixtape.
How many years
Right.
ago?
That was a while.
He
That
just
was
said
Maybe
a
like
while.
3.
Yeah, like
About
3
2
years
years
ago.
ago
It's
you
not
just
like
said
Chance the Rapper, and I'm not a big fan of Chance the Rapper, but I didn't see Chance the Rapper coming out of nowhere.
I've never heard a Chance the Rapper verse.
And all of a sudden,
I don't
all of a
know.
sudden, he's doing tours with Madonna. So you know what I'm saying? I don't have.
Have you ever heard a Chance the Rapper verse, Envy?
No.
Me neither.
I heard Drake mention Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, me too.
Now my problem is this. Like I'm pretty like we all have a good relationship.
Right.
If any of y'all heard something that I said and had a problem with it, what would y'all do?
Call you a
Call
sucker.
you.
Call
you a
me
sucker.
a sucker.
You already gonna call you a
You
sucker.
get on the, like, you know what I'm saying? And what's crazy about it is, what's even crazier about it is, I'm sitting at home on a Saturday. My daughter's in dance school. I get a text. To who was the text? To one of y'all.
It was to me.
It was to you.
Yeah.
Talking about me.
Yeah.
Like how I'm a sucker. So I'm like, yo, Troy, you talking to me?
Oh, wait, he was texting
so
you
He
instead of
texted
Charlamagne?
Charlamagne,
thinking of Charlamagne.
talking about behind
No,
my
I
back.
got-
What did the text say? What did the
Me
text
and
say?
Troy was already texting.
Right.
And you was in it on it too. You
We was
called me a
texting about
sucker?
something else.
How my name come up?
I don't know. The text he sent you, was meant to go to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man,
what the
I
hell
hate
was y'all
when that
talking
happens.
about
So
that
he
he
said
felt
Combat
so
Jack is a
comfortable?
sucker, and it went to Combat Jack.
It went to me.
Nah,
Damn
he
it,
was
man.
like, you've always been championing me, keep being a champion for good music, whatever. I don't.
And then he said,
just
F
like,
Combat
he
Jack.
was
So-
like,
so
Jack
the-
supposed to be my man. I don't remember how. I don't
So-
remember how the
Wait,
conversation
so
went.
he was talking about you and texted
About
you by
me, so
accident.
I did
Sheesh.
what any man would do. I called him. Text me back. No, I don't pick up my phone for suckers.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to Jose. I'm like, Jose, I don't have no problems with no young rappers. I've been in this game since '89. Like, how am I? This is the first time in my career that I'm gonna have an issue with a rapper that I've been
got beef now,
supporting.
son. You better do it
Like, go through all my tweets for the past
Do a diss
4
record.
years. Go through all my tweets for the
Sheesh.
past 4 years, and look how I've been championing and supporting this brother. These rappers ain't loyal, man.
So I can't. So you never had no issues with anybody else?
No.
Oh, but you've had issues
I had a
with
little.
other
I
people.
mean, I had a little
Someone
issue with
Papoose.
Nori and Papoose.
Papoose.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you
but
had
but I
some-
own
Oh no,
that.
you used to kill Papoose.
I killed him once. But Papoose still has an open invitation to the Combat Jack show, so we can talk about this as men. Isn't that what men do?
you
Men
too
and
hard on
women.
Papoose, man. Papoose actually is dope.
You know, he's gotten so much better over the past couple of years. And I'm not even tap dancing. I want to interview Papoose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can we move on now? I don't want to talk about that.
What
Let's talk
happened with
about you
Nori?
being
What
in
happened
the
with
game. Yeah,
Nori?
what happened with Nori?
I did the CNN deal, and it
You was
wasn't
his lawyer.
No, I was Tragedy's lawyer, and he signed through Tragedy, and it wasn't the best deal. And the
Okay.
minute he signed that,
raped him.
it was a bad deal.
Nah, damn it, man.
Hold on,
As
so
a lawyer, don't you have a
Nori-
responsibility to make sure?
Not to
Not to Nori. He
Not
was
to
Travis' lawyer.
So Nori was signed to Tragedy?
through Tragedy when they did the
I didn't know
CNN deal.
that.
Yeah,
25 to life or something like that.
25 to life. Yeah.
Oh, word. So you do. You know what? So I need you on my side.
Let's
Well,
talk
you know,
about that, though.
I'm a podcast and personality host right
Nah,
now.
you still
I don't
got
do
the lawyer
contracts
job, bro.
anymore.
How did you go from being an entertainment lawyer to the podcasting? And you was in the military too, right?
No, I was never in the military.
What? His name is just Combat Jack.
Oh,
This guy's an
push-ups. Yeah, I was in the Marines, Navy SEALs.
All the time I thought you was in the
You know what I'm
military.
saying? Secret forces.
Guys.
Nah, I ain't never been in the military, but you know, God bless you though.
I thought you was in the military.
Nah, man. I look like I was in the military.
You got a sergeant demeanor about
Okay,
you.
all right. You know, 10
Charlamagne's
hut.
no god.
10 hut. So anyway, you know, it was I've been in the game for a while, and it was like around 2003, and I just felt that I had something else to do other than representing clients, and I got burnt out, and I didn't like the industry at the time. I wasn't having fun. You know what I'm saying? Digital downloading just hit us, so I was working harder to make the same amount of money. My wife we had our third kid, and I was like, there's something more to life than this. So
He spent all that money for law school and just said F that.
But you know what though? It helped me because at this point in my life, people really respect what I say. People really respect my perspective on the
You gotta
industry,
follow your passion.
and I owe that to all those years as an attorney. You
Who
know,
was
what
some of the clients you had?
I mean? Rockefeller, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, the Hitman producers, Derek Angeleri, Ron Lawrence, Kelly Price, Jaheim, Chico.
But the
made a
Hitmen
lot
had
of
some
money.
pretty
I
bad.
made a lot of money in the
Did
90s.
the Hitmen have some pretty bad deals through Diddy because they were Diddy's producers?
You know, Diddy's deals, this is not to defend Diddy, but he gets a bad rap because the deals that he had at the time was the same deals that was rampant throughout the entire industry.
It's just the fact that he's
He's
different.
accessible, he's
Yeah,
black, and that's
yeah.
my biggest problem with the industry. When a black dude does it, everybody's gonna pile in on him and he robbed me and this and that. And when like a Tommy Mottola or a Donnie Ienner or anybody does it, you know what I'm saying? Nobody says nothing.
Right.
So what do you think about Dame Dash going at all these executives now? Where do you think it's coming from? You recently had him on your show.
Yes. I think Dame Dash, Dame Dash is a lot of things, but he's a brilliant dude. And apparently something's going on in his life where he feels now that he has to speak out
That's a
and
good
call
thing.
out names. And, last week there was back and forth between him and Flex, and out of the blue he called me. He said he wanted to do my show, and I asked him, I was like, why don't y'all do the breakfast? Why don't you do the Breakfast Club? Why don't you do a bigger platform? He was like, yo, because you're fully independent, and I really rep that. So I really respect that man for coming on my show to air out and give us all those ratings. You know
What's
what
his
I'm saying?
grievances? What's his beefs?
He feels like a lot of cats in the game, are culture vultures. And the way the industry is going right now, the way the music is and what the music was before, it's not the same. And a lot of cats that haven't really come up in this culture, people that don't really respect the culture, they just make the money off the culture and they move on. That's his biggest
Do you
grievance.
agree with him?
I feel that, one of the first words you see in any music contract is exploitation. Like, that's a legal term. Like, we have a negative connotation for exploitation, but that's a legal term. So it's an industry of exploitation. That's what it is. So in part, I do agree with him that, people come in, they see an opportunity to exploit, and they exploit, and they're out.
But everybody does it. It's like you said with Diddy. Look, think about all the artists that have come and gone on Bad Boy.
You know what it is? I think, I can't really speak for him, but Diddy at least really came from the culture. He was a dancer, you know what I'm saying? He was in the clubs, he was throwing parties. Like, he lived this.
So do you have to be black to come from the culture?
It's not about black or white. It's definitely not about black or white, but it's really a certain type of respect. Like, for example, last week, there was an argument going on with the other radio station. And
Chuck D?
Yeah, and Chuck D got dissed. Like, how do you diss a man like Chuck D if you know this culture? And I'm not saying they're not from the culture, but those are the things that people not from the culture tend to do. They make a lot of money from this culture, and then they say disrespectful things about the culture. And I really have a problem with that. I mean, don't y'all have a problem with people coming in, making money, and then saying things that's disrespectful to each and every one of y'all?
Right.
Depends what they saying, though.
I mean, I agree too. Like, I don't think because anybody's an OG, you can't check them, because anybody could get checked.
Anybody could get checked.
Because OGs
yes.
are delusional at times too.
Absolutely.
Because they're so focused on how things were,
Used to be, yeah, exactly.
that they're upset about how things are, especially when they're not a part of it no more.
But it's hard to be disrespectful to somebody.
My thing is, if Chuck D called me and said, yo, I have a problem with you, I'd be like, yo, OG, I got so much respect for you. I might not necessarily agree with you, but let me hear your opinion. Let's see how we can meet.
Still be respectful.
Meet a happy medium.
But, and not to play devil's advocate, Chuck D didn't call. From what I saw, he didn't call them. He aired it out on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah.
Which is terrible. Never do it on social media because it's like being in the high school yard about to fight. Everybody's egging you on.
But in this day and age, sometimes that's the best way to get heard, and the best way. I mean, I can imagine. I'm not saying this is the case, but I can imagine sometimes in this day and age, Chuck D's phone calls might be getting ignored.
I was gonna say that too, because if Chuck D called, they might not have answered. This right there.
This old head rapper trying to get on. He not popular like that.
New record. You know what I mean?
Some
So,
people
yeah,
are
true. I think he did it the right way.
disrespectful to people that laid down the pavement for us, though.
Yeah,
the pioneers. It's
I
definitely
hate that.
true.
I hate that. And why is it this culture? I listen to Howard Stern, like almost on a daily, and when somebody like Bruce Springsteen puts out a record or the Rolling Stones, he champions them. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if they're popping or not. Why are we the only culture that's talking about Jay-Z needs to give it up, 50 needs to give it up?
Culture, when you're old, it's over. It's
yeah, but it's still a young culture,
You're right.
and it's our culture. Like, if we keep doing that, our culture is not going to be around that much longer, as we know it.
Radio plays a part in that too. I've been saying that they need an urban AC hip hop station.
Right.
They need an adult contemporary hip hop station.
Most definitely.
So Rakim can still be heard, and Slick Rick and LL, and
But you know
all
what?
can
Not
still
only
be
that,
heard.
if you listen to some of them pop stations, they play artists from way back when. I'll still listen to a pop station and hear CC finally that joint, which is
CC
20 years
Peniston.
old. CC
Yeah.
Peniston,
But
20
that's
years
a
old.
big dance record.
You know what I mean? You still hear those
Yeah.
type of records. You never hear that on these type of stations. Never.
Yeah, and I hate the fact that, I mean, I know that hip hop was always about the new school, you know what I'm saying, the new before the old, but how is our culture so disposable? Be like, why is our culture, why are we ready to throw out our culture? Like, we don't have respect for ourselves and our artists and our legacy people that changed the game and created jobs for all of us.
Well, it's the artist's fault too, though, because a lot of the artists don't want to grow. They still want to rap at 40 the same way they did at 20. I don't want to hear about you busting your gun and selling dope and banging a bunch of chicks at 40 years old.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that either.
Make age-appropriate music. That's why Hov is still relevant, because he makes age-appropriate music.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's still talking about, busting his guns and selling drugs.
I haven't heard him talk about busting guns.
He talk about selling drugs.
In retrospect.
And at this point, nobody really wants to hear Jay-Z rap about selling drugs. We know you did that. Let's talk about these board meetings that you go in.
He does, though.
He does, but like, he always still throws in the coke rap.
In retrospect, yeah.
So
Well, that's the dream. When he throws up the retrospect, that's him bringing up, like, this is where I came from, this is where I am. I mean, people love that story, man. So the story is what sells.
But once again, to go back to what you said, respect, though, to some of these legacy artists, because to us, they might be out of the picture, but they're making a killing overseas. Like these cats are touring every day. Like these cats are making so much money overseas because the other cultures respect these rappers.
But I also think when a lot of those artists were big, a lot of those artists were feeling themselves and had attitudes and looked down to a lot of the young cats coming up. So now when the young cats take their position, it's like, why F with these dudes? They ain't F with me before.
I mean, I guess some of these cats were jerks.
And like you look at some of these artists now, you can touch them.
Right.
You know, whether you're a fan of Soulja Boy or Nicki Minaj or whoever it may be, you can touch them. You can talk to them on Twitter.
Right.
They'll talk to you back, which gives you more of a connection to these artists.
That's true.
Which makes a
Now,
difference.
for you, Combat Jack, you also had a position over at The Source.
Yes.
You were editor, managing
Managing editor at The Source.
Hey, you got a lot of jobs.
Now, what happened? Hold on. Now, what happened with The Source? Because I remember you were there for a minute, and the next thing I knew...
Man, we had a dream team at The Source, and we brought back a lot of life. I mean, respect to The Source, respect to the cats that run The Source. We were doing a lot of things, but, at the end of the day, man, it really comes down to how much you really want to win. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Did you have a passion for being an attorney?
I never had a passion for being an attorney as much as I have a passion right now, but I was good. And the more money I made, the better I thought I was. But at a certain point, it's funny, I got to give a shout out to this attorney, James McMillan. I hired this cat, James McMillan, towards the end of my career as an attorney. And I used to look at the passion that this kid had. Like, yo, we're going to do these deals. We're going to bring the South. He's one of the first cats. This is like 97, 98. This is one of the first cats that I heard talking about bringing the South to New York and to mainstream. And the passion that he had, I didn't have that. And once I saw the passion that he had, I said, you know what? I got to go and find something that does not feel like work to me.
Right.
And that's when that was the wake-up call. If I don't have that passion, I'm not living life.
At one point, I was actually trying to work with Combat Jack, as you recall, early on.
Yeah. When
That
you were
didn't work.
managing, did you have a passion for managing artists? And
I gave that passion up.
but did you have a passion for it?
I enjoyed it. At a certain point, I was really good at it, but it's very hard to put somebody's life before your own life all the time.
Yes, exactly.
And but there was a point when you were going to start doing radio,
Yes.
and I was like,
yeah.
yeah.
You know what? Salutes to you because you really put that spark in my head about talking on the radio and being a personality because I never, ever thought of that. I used to study starring Buck Wild. I used to study Howard Stern, but I never put myself in that position until you put it in my head that, you know what, you might be good on the radio. So I thank you for that, Angela.
Yeah, and I told a lot of people asked me, I want to do radio, I want to do this, and I told Combat Jack first I tried to get him to be on the show that I was on with me.
And then politics.
Yeah, that didn't work out. I told him he should just do his own thing, and you could tell people that, and they might not do it, but he really went out there and started his own show, and
started from the bottom.
Right.
What made you get on the podcast thing so early though? 'Cause he was on it. You've been doing podcasts for what? How long has it been now?
It's been the podcast has actually been 2.5 years. Well, 2 years, and before that, we were doing internet radio.
Okay.
So we used to be mad at y'all like terrestrial radio casting. Our whole thing was like F your radio.
But we all came through and did the show.
Yeah, that's true. But later on. But the thing is, shouts to Dallas Penn because he got approached to do an internet radio show. And this is when he and I were heavily in the blogs, and he's like, "Won't you come on and do this show?" So right behind you, putting that spark in my head, he was like, "Yo, there's a platform." So I kind of danced with it for a while, and finally I was like, you know what? Let's do this internet thing. The internet started off real slow. We used to record, and I felt like our words were just going out into the universe, and nobody was listening.
Right.
And I remember
That's a great time to get better when nobody's really listening. When you're not that great, it might be for the best that no one heard that early on.
But you know what? It was probably like our 7th episode. I was like, ain't nobody listening to us. And I got a DM from Elliott Wilson, and he said, keep doing it. And that was it. You know what I'm saying? Because I do respect Elliott, and the fact that he took his time to listen to us nobodies, quote unquote. It's a lot of people that really put the battery in our backs and really inspired us. And I think everybody, y'all know who you are, but I really thank y'all for inspiring us.
So financially, was it a little rough, or were you still able to practice law at the same time?
I stopped practicing law, for the most part, because I realized the nature of the entertainment industry. You can't really just do a contract for somebody. You really got to take care of their career.
Right.
And at this point in my life, I don't have it in me to take care of anybody else's career. I'm really trying to build this career. So financially, I took a hit, but like Damon Dash said, you got to go broke to be free.
Right, I agree.
I'm not broke, but I'm free.
Doing good. Now, let's talk about this Foxy Brown interview, because
Yes.
that was another landmark interview that you had where
Yes.
she came on the show. And she really, broke down
Yes.
and was very open and honest with you.
You used to rep her back in the day too, right?
No, I represented her brother Gavin.
Okay.
And I'm really close with the family. You know, shout out to Anton and Miss Marshawn, and we lived on the same block. So she was accessible, and you know, she really felt comfortable coming on our show and really, exposing like the things that she went through. And she was, that was a dynamic episode because she really bared her soul on that. You know, she mad at me right now though.
Why?
Because after we did the show, she's like, I need you to edit this and edit that.
Oh,
And I was like,
I hate when people do that.
I can't do that, Foxy. So you know.
You should be like, yo, I didn't hear your request.
You foul.
My whole thing is don't say something if you're going to ask somebody.
Come on, man.
That's messed up, Charlamagne. You know,
Charlamagne look at me dead in the face like I didn't say nothing.
What?
that's part of
This
what.
guy's
So
crazy.
who would
Charlamagne, I
some
don't
of-
hear you right
Who
now.
would some of your dream guests be that you haven't had on yet?
50. Like I would, I love 50's career. Like I think he brings so much entertainment value to the game. When that man talks freedom and freely and loose and recklessly, like 50.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, I love 50.
Let me get your, as a lawyer.
Yeah.
Let's get your stance on this whole Slowbuck situation. With him doing a civil suit. He's saying it's not criminal. It's not that he's talking to the cops or anything like that. He's just trying to get some money because his brand is tarnished.
Right.
What's your take on that?
First of all, I still don't really understand. Someone coming from the culture, I still don't understand this no snitching thing. I still don't understand that. If somebody does harm to you, financially or physically, you can't tell on that person. What part of the game is that?
Well, I guess when you claim to be a street dude and you run by street rules.
See, that I understand. If me and Premium Pete planned a heist and we was in this together and I got caught, I understand the no snitching thing. But you really got to be in that life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be in that life. If
You
you're
gotta be in that life.
You gotta live by those rules.
Now, I don't necessarily know what kind of life Slowbucks, like if he's really running with those dudes and someone a foul, then I could understand the street code. You know what I'm saying? But from my perspective, I'm looking at it, he got on the stage at Summer Jam and got robbed. Somebody's liable. Somebody got to pay for that.
Now, who do you
I'm
think is
suing
liable?
everybody.
That's what I
I'm
said.
suing everybody. I'm suing the stadium. I'm
MetLife.
suing Hot 97.
That's
I'm
what I
suing
said.
individuals, everybody. Everybody. I'm a lawyer. This is a litigious society. This society is based on lawsuits.
Don't you have to file
The
a-
white man sues every day. Why the black man don't want to sue?
That's
Like, what is
what I
wrong with
said.
us?
Don't you have to file a criminal suit first?
No.
No, I
No,
mean,
you can do just a
you gotta
civil
say your
suit.
chain.
civil
But
suit.
you don't know who
Yeah,
stole
it's
your
I
chain.
mean, you know what I'm saying? I got harmed. It was negligent. You had 100 on stage.
Yeah.
That's negligent. Somebody got to pay for that.
Now, as a lawyer, would they say he shouldn't have been on that stage?
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, he took
put-
the risk, but did he sign some waiver that said I can't be on a... How did he get on stage?
They let him in.
How did he get on stage? So where's the security? What's the protocol? Y'all just gonna let anybody on stage? What if I have a Mac on me
So
and
do
I
you
come
think-
on stage? Like what's going on?
Do you think this is a lawsuit that he can win?
I mean, there's always possibilities.
They'll probably
I mean,
settle out.
I heard there's no shots, but I heard his attorney sound a little fugazi. I didn't see the
Yes.
you know,
It was a trademark attorney.
yeah, you gotta be strong with this. You gotta come out and take no prisoners.
Wrong attorney.
Yeah, I mean, we can't say that because that is kind of
Well, you know
slanderous.
what? Yeah, you're right.
As legally,
Allegedly.
you can't say. You know what I'm saying?
Allegedly. I just
Free legal advice to you, B.
myself. I wouldn't hire a trademark attorney.
Right,
for this,
of course.
for this
Nah,
job.
just like if I got locked up, I wouldn't hire no contract attorney. I'm hiring a beast, criminal, attorney with blood
That's done
in
this
his
before.
mouth.
Oh, wow. All right, so you just gave him some advice, some free advice
Yes.
on what
Sorry,
he
am I
should be
too-
doing.
am I
But
too
they say
turned up?
somebody got
No,
locked
that's
up
great.
for it over the weekend.
Somebody got picked up, but
and released.
But I mean, how could somebody not get picked up, regardless
It's on
if
video.
if he snitched or not? It was 1 million cameras. It's on the Summer Jam screen getting robbed.
90% of World Star never gets arrested.
I mean, that's a whole different thing, man. But you right there, and that case is hot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of I don't know what's going on with the World Star stuff, but that case was hot. It was like one of the hottest topics last week. Slowbucks was trending. How's somebody not getting arrested for that?
Well, New York is on fire too with police, so they were definitely looking for that
Yes.
because they want to try to cease this before it gets worse.
You got robbed on the stage.
Is this something that 50 Cent could be liable for, even though he's not the one that necessarily did anything?
Yeah, I mean, it was during his show, and they're saying it's affiliates of his, and I'm not trying to say he should, like, I don't
I'm
want
just
to say
saying, could he get in trouble? Is this something he could be?
it's always a possibility. It's always a possibility.
Okay. Now let's talk about this Floyd and T.I. case a little bit.
Okay.
You know, the situation that they had in
Right.
Vegas.
Right,
with
right.
the whole fight and everything.
You better check your.
Right. Now, you know, you have a beautiful wife you've been with for quite some time.
Yes.
If you saw Floyd Mayweather taking pictures and posting them with a Kim everywhere, what would you do? Would you confront him?
You
Or-
know, it's funny. Like years ago, when my wife was dating. Sorry, hon. When my wife was dating, me and my wife was dating. She used to get these calls from Mike Tyson.
Wow.
I used to
Lord have
listen.
mercy. You sure you want to tell this story?
I would be in her crib. I would be in her crib,
Oh,
listening
Lord.
to how Mike Tyson was at Tiffany's and he had something nice for her.
Wow.
Damn it, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I used to be like, what's up with Mike Tyson? This was like 94.
You know what's up,
So
Jack.
And
You were in a similar
then
situation.
she would mess with me. He's just a friend. I know he's just a
Okay,
friend.
just a friend.
So it got to a point where it's like, yo, I might really have to check Mike Tyson.
You're not gonna check Mike Tyson.
Dude, she came home one day, I was doing push-ups. Like, I'm ready. I mean, of
five
course.
push-ups gonna do?
Me, I was younger and I was a lot more headstrong. But I'm saying, when you think and when you're in love with somebody and then, you know, somebody else comes in and threatens your manhood.
No, not just somebody else. Mike Tyson. You got to be like, baby, just tell him.
Mike Tyson would have hit me and I would have sued.
No,
like,
you got to say, baby, can you at least pick me something up when you're out there? When y'all just spending Mike's money, can you get me something too?
So I understand, you know, T.I.'s a street dude, you know what I'm saying? And I think if you live that life and you see a celebrity who knows who your wife is posting pictures up with your wife, that's a little greasy.
Can we interview your wife real quick?
Yes, please.
Please, come here, Miss Kim.
This is my girl, Kim.
I want to ask you one question real quick.
Uh-oh.
Now, mind you,
She's beautiful, ain't
just
she?
one more thing. Me and Kim go to the same gym, and every day guys always ask me about her. Like, where's Kim at?
Four kids.
Now, Kim,
4 kids.
did Mike smash?
No.
Hey, yo, I'm about to fight you right now, Charlamagne.
That's what you wanted to ask. Absolutely not.
You ain't got to lie, Kim. That was the
I don't have
past.
to lie. Absolutely not.
I know you asked that question too.
I would know.
How many times you asked
He
that
was
question
just
before
a
you was
friend.
sure that she was telling you the
No,
truth?
no, I knew, like,
Just
the
a
way
friend.
he was talking, he was trying to
He's
smash.
trying to.
Oh, got you.
You know what I'm saying?
got
They didn't actually smack, because the way it was like, I blocked that. I had to block that.
Yeah.
You never seen Tyson, you know, you never asked him about it, had a personal whatever.
Nah, I
Thank
mean, I'm
God.
cool with
Let's hope he
Tyson.
doesn't
You
see
hate
this.
watching this past highlight reel. Though. You're like, you wasn't that good.
No, I was studying this highlight reel. No, but I would love to, like, I have so much, like, out of my generation, like the 80s, I got so much respect for Tyson. I think people talk about which athlete in the 80s really respected and represented the culture. I would say Tyson more than anybody, because he was loose. He had the gold tooth. He had the moon part. You know what I'm saying? Dapper Dan. Like, I love Mike Tyson for what he did for our culture back in the 80s.
So what's next for the Combat Jack show?
I mean, you know, sky's the limit. And people are calling me, like, this Dame Dash shut us. I mean, we did over 100,000 downloads for a 2-hour podcast between Friday and Monday.
That's huge.
You know, and I mean, we had a TV show with Complex, and shout out to Complex. I think it was a good look. Sky's the limit. You know what I'm saying? We're building a podcast network. You know, Brilliant Idiots is doing very well. We got The Read and Fan Bros and a whole bunch of other shows. Like, what we're doing right now is we have this platform. When I came to podcasting was viewed as this intellectual white pastime. You know what I'm saying? And cats thought that, you know, people of color really didn't have a place or a voice. And we're changing that. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely changing that perspective where cats are looking at us, the Loudspeakers Network, as the premier podcast network. So we're building that. You know, we're getting advertising dollars right now, and it's just bigger and better, man. Sky's the limit.
Well, we wish you the best.
Well, that's great,
Thank you.
Kenny and Pete. Combat Jack, we thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so
I
much.
feel like I learned a lot today.
Was I too turned up?
Nah, you was good.
Okay, it's the radio, right?
Pete, you could have did some ad libs or something.
I mean, listen, it's the Combat Jack show you're talking about.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, you know.
And shout out to Pete, because, you know, he's a white guy, but he's
Italian,
the blackest.
Italian. We
He's a
fixed
white
that.
guy.
He's the
Italian.
blackest white guy. I know he got a baby mama. He did time in jail.
He got a baby mama.
Like, look at this dude, man. He rocks with the Combat Jack show. Salutes, man.
All
And
right.
salutes to every member of the Combat Jack show.